So this is a 2-point argument here that the last 15 minutes we went into. We'll change the topic here in a second. One of the arguments is Meta coming? Yes. Is it going away? I don't think so.
No.
You may say it's going away. I don't think it's going away. If it's not going away, this is not going to be the same as it's been the last 20 years because Meta is a full argument against this. And NFT, Ethereum, Bitcoin, all of that is going to be an argument for why you ought to be there. Because if you want to buy a token, the only way you can buy a token 50% of the time is through Ethereum, right?
Right.
If you want to get in there, if you want to buy an NFT, if you want to do this, I was just at Art Basel conference this last week. You guys went to the Art Basel. You know how it was. So you're walking around and you're looking at
Greensboro, North Carolina.
Well, you crushed it. I mean, some of the guys were sending me messages, but going back to it. So I was at Art Basel, and I'm walking around, I'm looking at these pictures. Okay, some of the stuff was freaking strange. That's art. I love it, right? But I don't know if you saw that. There was like 10 galleries that were selling NFT art, and that's all it was.
Did you talk to Perez? He had comments that went kind of
George Perez.
Yeah, I mean, he got like a lot of heat because he was really upset about this because he said art is an experience. It's kind of like I've been out to Marfa, Texas to see the Donald Judd Foundation, and it's really a trip everyone should make. I mean, Jeff Gunlock is the one that told me about visiting there. He's like, you got to visit there. It's this Dan Flavin light exhibits and all these things. You can't see them anywhere else. Yeah. See them anywhere else, okay? Think about what Gunlock told me. You can't see them anywhere else. You go to the Judd Foundation, no cameras. Not because they don't want you to photograph the art, because Donald Judd said, if you're looking at the aperture of a camera, you're not using your eyes. And the art affects your eyes because you look at the art, you have an experience. And I want you to have that experience here. You can look at your camera some other time. Perez is saying that. He's saying art is an experience.
How old is Perez?
Perez
he's in his 70s.
Not young, but he.
I mean, there you go. That ends the argument.
So here's the thing: are we transitioning into a time where the experience is you've got a rock with 2 laser eyes and you flex in the metaverse? And if we are, then what you were saying is human beings now are comfortable not having individuality, which probably is true. But will they ever wake up and say, my whole entire life is
a lie.
Captured and gone?
Well, there's 2 different arguments that are being made right here.
Well, do you eventually most people become grumpy old men? Okay,
slowly we do.
And by the way, and we have to cling on whatever our legacy is, and anything that takes away from our legacy, we kind of become grumpy. So let's just say whatever that if you're
do you know anything about George Perez? You know about Pam? It's the Perez Art Museum of Miami. I lived across the street from it. So, like, the guy has a vested interest in typical art.
What I'm trying to say is, if you're going there and the legacy is tied to it, he has to say that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I don't own a single NFT. Not one. I don't own one of those monkeys, any of that, and I don't own none of that stuff, right?
The Bored Apes, you're saying.
The apes. I don't know if I may eventually buy one. I'm telling you, as of right now, I don't. All I'm saying to you is, a comment like that being made, goes back to the movie Grumpy Old Man. So
let me say something
nothing
about
against the guy. He's a legend. I get it. But in that market, the argument from NFT is going to be,
Let me say something about what EB said that I want to revisit, and you touch on it with the NFT. So you talked about essentially the Warren Buffett quote about be fearful when people are greedy, be greedy when people are fearful. I was also there a few hours after you. This was, what was it, Sunday?
I was there with my wife and kids. You were there with 4 girlfriends.
Regardless, we were checking out art. It was good. Adrian actually bought a piece. Adrian bought a piece in crypto, our buddy.
A real piece.
But he paid
used
for
digital currency to buy a real piece of art.
Jackpot.
All right.
Yeah. So here's my point. Be fearful when people are greedy. Be greedy. Yeah. So we're there. We're checking out art. It's crazy. It's expensive. We usually, hot tip, you go on Sunday at 7 o'clock when it ends at 8. And they're selling a piece for $5,000.
Save that money.
You go for they're selling a piece for $5,000. You're like, look, it's going to cost you $1,000 to ship it. I'll take it off your hand. I'll give you for $3,200. Bing, 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 bing. So some guy comes up to me and he has this like French accent. He's like, yes, look at this piece. We're selling it as an NFT, and you have to understand that we're showing you the experience. But then when you buy it, and I go, yeah, but so what's the NFT? He's like, yes, this is the wave of the future, and you have to understand. And I go, yeah, but what's the NFT? And like almost he like lost his friend's action. He's like, listen, bro, I don't fucking know. I'm just trying to sell some fucking art here, bro. So when people be fearful, when people are greedy, that's exactly the story that this guy's basically saying. This guy, he didn't even have an accent by the time that he confided in me.
This reminds me of the children's story, Emperor's
has no clothes.
Yeah,
gentlemen. Exactly.
And they keep telling this guy, no, you look great, you look great. He's standing there.
What happened? Hold on 1 second, EB. We lost the podcast. We lost the feed.
What's the reason this time?
Maybe Perez owns the building.
We get to the bottom of it finally.
All right, almost back.
Yeah, I'm buddies with his son, JP Perez.
Is that right?
Total pimp.
So, anyways, you were saying, so the old the book, the kid book, it's back.
There's a children's book, The Emperor's Clothes, and we all know the story is that they're like, no, you look great. You should spend a lot of your treasure to buy this new fabric, and there is no fabric, and
he's naked.
He's naked, and he's all embarrassed in the end. And so what we're really saying is, will there ever be a moment when people say, holy crap, I actually need something that I can put my hand on? And the answer so far has been no. So
not for 1 year or 2 years, for
a while.
Years. Tesla back in the day was saying that he didn't like the concept of television because people will think they've gone to the Grand Canyon because they've seen the Grand Canyon, and you haven't really seen the Grand Canyon, and it's, his whole thing was he wanted to transport people there. That's what he think technology should have been used for, human transport instead of just, he thought it was cheapening, and obviously him and Edison didn't get along, but he thought it was cheap that somebody could take a digital rendering of something, show it to somebody, and then their brain would interpret it as having been there, But we're going to be able to go to the Grand Canyon in the Metaverse. We're going to be able to go. Who wants to stand in line in Disney World? You can go into Disney World in the Metaverse and not have a line, and then go up and down the roller coaster in the Metaverse. And philosophically, I tend to agree with you. I don't like where it's going. I think it's dangerous. I think that giving up personal autonomy for nonstop, serotonin is horrible.
Yeah.
But I don't see.
And why is it horrible? Because now someone can turn it off.
Yeah, it's total control.
All we're talking about is the upside of it. The smartphone's great. You know where you're going all the time. You can pre-order a coffee and make it any way you want. But someone can turn it off.
No. See, this
you're saying the controller can turn it off. But as the user, you can also turn it off and say, I'm going off the grid.
Hold on real quick. This is what I think has happened in this conversation. This is what we're having two different conversations at the same time. We're having a conversation about where this thing is going, and then you're having a conversation about why it's wrong to go that way. I don't disagree with you, but we're talking about trying to speculate. We're talking about tangible and real.
You can do both. I really believe you can do both. I mean, that's why I talk about the platform of the crypto and then the coins. If you understand the platform and you understand the coins and you want to make a play into it, knowing that, you can do both. You can do both.
But you're not doing both.
But
you're not doing both.
I've kind of got all that I need.
You're all in on gold.
Yeah, I'm not all in on gold. I mean, I have the carbon credit royalty business is incredible. You're planting mangrove trees, in Southeast Asia and selling the carbon capture to people that fly in airplanes.
Okay, but right there though.
Crazy.
So but you're doing carbon credits. Yeah. Carbon credits is basically a tax for living.
It's an existence tax.
It's just so everything is carbon. So I mean, how can you're worried about the morality of one thing, and then the other thing is
I'm not worried about the morality. Like I think you can play a trend, and then you can do something with your own money.
I don't think there's anything more evil, and I know that all the environmentalists and the lefts and they think I'm a crazy righty and all that other stuff. There's nothing more evil in the world to me than a carbon tax. Yeah. Who the hell gets to tax you for living?
It's crazy, and people are all for it. I mean, take a poll of young people, and they say that's important. I mean, people are more interested in that business, by the way, than the Metalla. Metalla business, you tell someone about 30 years of gold, no, I'm not interested. 30 years of mangrove trees, I'm all in. I want that. When can I buy that on Robinhood? I'm ready right now. It's amazing. Investment bankers, we'll do a roadshow for that. We're going public next fall. They'll set up 2 weeks of meetings. In the gold business, 1 day.
I don't know. I'm not. You will never put me in the box of a crypto guy. Would you ever put me? You've been with me for how many?
No, I'm not a crypto
guy, and I'm not a gold guy. But I own both.
You are a card guy.
You're a baseball card guy.
By the way, I own most for me is cards. Second most would be probably crypto. Then it's gold. Is what I own. Okay. But my number one is cars, and I'm not including my investments. Obviously, that's number one. Stocks, all the other stuff. That's equities is number one. But then number two is this, and so for me, when I think about this, this is, you know, it's a different gig. I don't think this is gonna. The only thing that it's gonna make this explode is a catastrophic event. So if you think about the triggers, inflation goes up. This needs to go up. It didn't work. A level of uncertainty in the world. A war happens. A massive, you know, pandemic happens. This needs to go up. It didn't really work like that. So the triggers have changed in a major way. You know, there's speculation in stocks. There is the Fed all of a sudden votes somebody in that's a communist from Russia, and she replaces, let's just say, Powell. Ooh, we got to be careful because we don't know what she's going to do. Okay, that goes up. But it hasn't. So many things isn't moving this, and so many things are moving crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, that they can say, see,
yeah.
And gold can't say see. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the credibility for the gold community, in my opinion, has gone down. That's my opinion.
It has. And so here's the thing. When you get back to that thing about the Moody family, right? You want to buy your hedge when it's cheap. Like everybody wants to buy insurance the day after the hurricane comes through.
Right.
It's really expensive. Okay? And there hasn't been a storm for years. No one wants to buy insurance. That's when you buy the insurance. So to take a 1% hedge right now, to your point, is extraordinarily cheap. It's never been cheaper because you have all the signs of swirling, you know, clouds in the air, and people are like, no, I don't want that. So take the hedge when it's cheap, and then also play the speculative move. Like, play that move.
You're basically saying in sports, you don't just play offense, you don't just play defense. You got to play both sides of the ball. So play some D, and then get on your own.
Nobody cares, and so you can get in there.
The ironic part about what you're saying, also, man, is like nobody clamors for freedom until they have none of it.
So if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.